right, that's me.
I'm the G.I. Joe gamer, cool and witty, talking about those characters, heroes and villains. On Wednesday nights we shout, Yo Joe or Cobra, talking about the Joe team and a Cobra tide. Yo Joe, Cobra, Cobra. I'm here to give my G.I. Joe takes. Oh yeah, Yo Joe, Cobra, Cobra. Joe's got snake eyes, the silent ninja in black. Quick with his swords, he'll give you a heart attack. Then there's Duke, the leader, so bold, gung-ho, always ready to fight and make those cameos. And we can't forget about Scarlet, the ultimate girl power. A fierce warrior, she'll make her enemies cower. Cobra's got Destro to supply the weapons. Cobra Commander plots and schemes, see ruling the world in his dreams. Zartan is never what he seems, and Baroness rocks that black leather outfit. Shoot you quick and slip out the back of the pit. Yo Joe, Cobra, Cobra. I'm here to give my G.I. Joe takes. Oh yeah, Yo Joe, Cobra, Cobra. Talking about the characters, it's a G.I. Joe thing. Oh yeah! Let's do this.
Mature content warning. On Logan's Joe Takes, strategic commentary may include strong language, heated opinions, classified references. Time to call in the Joes. Opposing forces may attempt audio interference. Logan's Joe Takes. Mission begins now.
Greetings, I am Logan, the G.I. Joe gamer. This is Joe Take 79. We're going to be talking about scrap iron today. Later on today, we're going to be talking about the Striker and crankcase, but I'll take some time in between to set up. It's been a really weird couple of weeks, and sorry about not having Joe Takes the last couple of weeks as scheduled, but, you know, things happen in life, and, you know, they lost internet one week and got sick the next week, and now I'm feeling good, so I'm just going to play catch up. But it made me evaluate how I'm going to be doing Joe Takes in the future. I'm going to have it be a part of the live experience of Fridays from the Hilt, but then I'm going to take the individual episode that is Joe Takes out of Fridays from the Hilt and post those on From the Hilt and on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel. I'm going to try to get those up on the following Saturday on From the Hilt and Wednesdays on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel. So that's what's going on with Joe Takes, but, you know, we're still going to have them. Joe Takes 81 will be part of Fridays from the Hilt next Friday when our Independence Day special on our Fridays from the Hilt. But as of now, I'm doing these last two Joe Takes to get them in here before we get to the July schedule. All right, let's jump into looking at figures now. My scrap iron figure, he's seen better days. I bought this figure originally, then I traded it for comic books, and then I traded it back. But when I got it back, it was messed up. I had to pop out the arms, and they were all broken up in the legs, and so my scrap iron has Viper arms and Zaymot legs. Crotch and legs. I'm pretty sure there's Zaymot crotch and legs, but this is my example of the 1984 scrap iron. Like I said, he's not in very good shape. And I never got my accessories back, so we had to go with, he had a big old pistol, and I do have an example of that I'm going to show you with one of mine, because I have other scrap iron figures, so we're going to have some fun with that. I look a little thinner, maybe? Well, thank you. It's like I said, it's been a rough month, and the bonus, I guess, is that I've lost weight. But thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. Now, the original Cobra accessory pack for G.I. Joe, it came out, I think, in 85. I'm pretty sure it was 85. Could have been 86. because they had a couple of GI Joe accessory packs that came out first. I don't remember when they started bringing them out, but it came with this this version. Originally, it was black, and I prefer that, and the missiles were red. But for some reason, in the accessory pack, they molded it and they changed it around. It's a pretty cool missile launcher. It comes with the core. This is detachable from the launcher, just like that, and then it goes right back on. If I can see what I'm doing. But yeah, it pops right back on. Now the other one I have like this is not as good, so I'll show you what I mean. But yeah, the cord goes like that. And he holds it in his hand, and it's his detonator, you know, and he fires the missile, and they come out, blam. And so I've got a really cool classified example to show you here in a little bit. But that's my example of my 84 scrap iron. So I really don't have a decent one. I need to get one, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Life always gets in the way, but I did get a comic book pack with Serpentor in the early 2000s that came with scrap iron. So here's what he's supposed to look like, only not in the correct colors. He's a much darker figure like you saw in the original. He also came with a little RPG grenade, rocket-propelled grenade launcher, or bazooka as they call them. But he did come with these original big old pistols. So I do have an example of that. And he came with this machine gun for whatever reason. I'm glad he came with some guns, but I wish he'd have come with his missile launcher. That version did not come with one. So that's where we're at with that scrap iron. Now, my nicest example of scrap iron, aside from the classified, which is sweet, is the one that came, I believe, in another comic book. It wasn't a comic book pack, but actually, I don't remember what he came with. But this scrap iron came out in the 25th anniversary line. It wasn't on a card. It was with something else, and I don't. It's like, I may have been a comic pack, but I'm not sure. Oh, it was. He came with Wild Bill. I don't know what I'm thinking, because I have the comic right there, down there, that I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. But yeah, I had it all set up, but my brain just went, okay. But yes, this is what he's supposed to look like. He's got the right colors, maybe a little, should be a little darker, but you know, he did not come with a pistol. He came with one of those trooper knives that they came out with in the 25th anniversary line. And so he's got, I think, trooper legs, you know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. So they didn't remold legs. They just reused parts, which is okay. But he, however, did come with a missile launcher in the correct colors. However, it's really cheap plastic, and the connector cord to his detonator comes off really easy. And it's really that I'm worried that this, if you moved it too much, it would break. But the missiles are the right colors. And so he came with some cool missiles. And let me get some music on in the background. I am schlocking today. But we'll get things going. I'll throw some Cobra Command music. All right. So that's what his missile launcher is supposed to look like. Now, these missile launchers came with a stand, and this one it's two. Now the original was two pieces, and this one is two, but it's glued together, which I thought was a good idea. But the connector is a little different from the original, and I'll show you what I mean. And so it just sits right on there. But the original, you know, this is how it was molded. I don't know, they probably lost the mold for it because they give a lot of molds to different countries. And it's actually got the peg that goes into the rocket launcher right there. Now, you cannot use this as a backpack. I wish they had made it that way. That would have been cool, but they didn't. And this just comes apart into two pieces. It has one stand, and then three pieces. Oh boy! Of course, it wouldn't be a Joe take if I didn't drop something. But there we go. I forgot that the actual this actually isn't supposed to come out of here. It can, but it is three pieces, and that's why I didn't remember it that way. It originally came like this, and then you got the smaller part that goes right on here, just like a puzzle, and you put it on there, and then you just snap it into place here. And if I can do this correctly on camera, I am going to be happy with myself, but I probably won't. So we'll see. All right, let me do this right. I can do this. You got to get the legs lined up. Ah, look at that! I did it. Okay, cool. My big old hands, and then of course the missiles went askew. But So in some ways, the design of the newer one is a little better, but I like the look of it, but the plastic is definitely better on the original. Let's see, I haven't been able to hype all of your videos. Some don't have it in it as an option. I know a current live can't be hyped. Maybe it's just the members only videos. I'll try to figure it out. Oh, okay, thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. All right, so that's going to take us to the classified figure. And if you want to see any of these figures that I'm showing off today, before I leave, make sure you let me know in the chat and I'll show you again. It's no biggie because I got them out. Now, I'm going to start with the box like I always do with classified. We'll take a look at he's number 74 in the classified line. Nothing going on the top, nothing really on the bottom except all info. And then you've got the back, which has all the accessories shown, which I wish they still did that. And of course you have the front cover, but what I like to show off last is the side art, which is usually really awesome on most of these, and this one is no exception. It's got the portrait of Scrap Iron there, and he does look pretty awesome, like I said before. So there's the box. Now he came out when they were doing Foot Lockers. Now some of the vehicles still come with these, but you know, it's got the number of the classified figure, and you know, they're just cheap little boxes. But it was nice to have something to put your accessories in. And in that time period, they also came out with these background boxes that the figure sits in the box in black and white that just looks so cool. I love these, and I wish they still did these on more figures, but they don't. So you know, we're kind of stuck with that now. As you saw in the back of the box and the front, it came with all these explosive blast effects. And checking them out in hand, they don't really look all that good, but they photograph really well. And in the On Joe Takes video I'll show at the end of this episode, you'll see what I mean. I photographed a bunch of them really good. But, I mean, this is an explosion. I mean, if you look at it really close, you're like, what is that? And I guess, you know, it looks okay, and it might look good on camera, but holding in hand, they don't really look all that fantastic, but man, do they photograph really well. So when I first got this, I'm like, what are these? No, those things, yeah. I was like, what are these? And they're just little explosions that you put on the ground and make it look like something blew up, which is kind of cool. And some other sets have come with these, and I think some of the missile sets, the HMS for Cobra and the MMS for G.I. Joe, I think those came with them too, but different colors. Now, it also came with these blast effects that go on the missiles. Now, I'm going to show you the figure first, and I'm going to save what I think is the best part of the figure for last, which is the missile launcher. The classified version of this missile launcher is awesome, which makes this a deluxe figure for sure. Now, here is the classified Scrap Iron. Now, I think they did a great job of making him look a lot like the original, and I think they've got the colors better, like this, like more like the original. So I think they did a great job on this figure. They made him look awesome. He comes with a pistol. You know, it would have been cool if he came with a rifle too, but he's got a freaking missile launcher that's almost a tank. And then of course you just slide the pistol in his holster, and it slides in just like that. You know, so we've got his sidearm, which is awesome. Now, what they did do with this figure that they haven't done on any Scrap Iron before is his helmet comes off, and they reveal his face, his really messed up face. And I'll start with his good side, and I do like on the On Joe Takes video, you'll see what I mean, because I get a better look at it. But man, that face is gnarly. I mean, let me see if I can get the focus. But like I said, on my video, you'll see it better. But there it is, man, and all his hideous glory. And then you just pop the helmet back on, and he's Scrap Iron again. Very cool figure. I really dig this character and this figure. I love these missile launchers. They were really nice. And, you know, back in the day, he just came with the missile launcher, and it's the same price as all the other figures. I wish they still did that, but no, they're gonna have to make their money, and I understand. They put a lot of effort into this bad boy, and like I said, it looks like a little mini tank. It's got its treads. I wish the treads would have moved. That would have been cool, you know, so you could roll it along, but or had wheels or something in there, so at least simulated that. But they do not move. The missile launcher can move up and down. It's on a ball joint, and so you can pose it in any which way. And I didn't bother doing that on my On Joe Take the video. And it just pops right off to put it back in the box, so it fits in there really nice. And then you've got your missiles that look so much like the original. Like I said, I'll pop them out, one of them out here, and I'll show you side by side. They did a good job. Only it looks more like an actual missile than these little stumpy ones. But you know, they had to fit them in with the figure back in the day, and they went all out on these new ones, and they're just sweet. And I love this missile launcher. It's just so good. Now these, like I said, these blast effects that go with the missiles, one's shorter and one's longer. I wish that it came with 4, 2 of each, because that would have made more sense. But you know, it is what it is. And the missile just pops right on there like that, and you can put it in the missile launcher like that, so it looks like it's firing, which is really cool. And it films really well. Plus, you can just slide it out a little bit to make it look like it's further out. And same with the other one, only it's a little shorter. And you just pop the missile right on the end. There's a little peg right there and a little peg hole there, and you just marry them up. Boop. And you got your missile that's on a shorter leash, as it were. So when you display it, it looks like they're firing at separate times and intervals, and it looks pretty cool. At least I thought so. I dig this missile launcher. This is very cool. And yeah, you know, you can put them on either side and just display them however you want to. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, I dig these blast effects for these missiles. It's really cool. Now, there you go. Then they just slide back in here in the missile launcher. And I'll show you with the other. And you just make sure your missiles are lined up, and they slide right in there. And it's a lot like the OG, only with treads, man. Badass. At least I think so. Missile stand there. I mean, look at that. There's like a little camera there with your sensors and everything. You're targeting shit. And you know what? He came with a controller as well. I might have left it in the box. Let me see if I can find it. Came with this little controller, and it might have fell out of the box at some point because, like I said, these boxes are really cheap and they do not stay very well. And it might just be down in the box, but yeah, he had a little controller, and I had it when I was filming the On Joe Take. At least I'm pretty sure I did. And so I might have to find it. I may have lost it somewhere because when I was making my G.I. Joe movie, Blood Right, I was filming, and he had a pretty big scene in there. But yeah, there's the controller right there, and I just don't know what happened to it. It's not here, so it's probably on the floor somewhere. And we got a cool gamer in the house. Hey, cool gamer, how you doing, bud? It is nice to see you. I'm gonna say hi to you in the chat. And we're talking scrap iron today. Cobra character, the missile technician, the cartoon, which we'll get into in a bit, had him as the inventor of the bats. I don't really think that's the case. He may have assembled them for Destro. This is not his origins aren't sure of who he works for. Let me see what's going on. All right, so scrap iron, that's the figures. Like I said, he has a controller, and I just may have popped it down here on the floor when I opened the box, but I am not seeing it, so I'll have to find it. But I'm pretty sure it is on my On Joe Takes video, so it's probably around in my little studio area now, my office. So I should be able to find it pretty quick, but who knows? And yeah, I got the waist swivel. He's got a good range of motion, but like I said, I'm not really doing reviews on these figures. I'm talking about the characters. But I like to have the classified figure to show you before I talk about the character. Now, and that has always been the case. Let me put these over here out of the way so so I can chat without worrying about knocking figures down or boxes or any of that. And I think my music might be a little too low today. Let's see if we can adjust that while I chat a little bit. But it was there, it was just way in the background. Okay, there we go. So that's Scrap Iron's figures. Now, as far as the character's concerned, we're going to start with the file card. So here is Scrap Iron's file card, and I will be right back.
Codename Scrap Iron, Anti-Armor Engineer Specialist. File name classified. Birthplace classified. Primary specialty Tank Destroyer. Armored Vehicle Destroyer. Secondary specialty explosives. Scrap Iron is methodical and precise in perfection. In any form repels him. His primary military specialty is Tank Destroyer. Scrap Iron was apparently a product designer for Destro's Armaments Company, carrying out initial field testing on all new armor-piercing munitions and sub-munitions. His area of specialization is remote-launched, laser-guided, rocket-propelled, piezo-electric-fused anti-tank weapons. He was first seen working with Firefly as a security team for the Cobra-controlled town of Springfield. They met up with the fugitive Buzzer and ended up pursuing the older ninja. Softmaster by chance, the trio met up with Candy Apple, the daughter of a prominent Crimson Guardsman. With her was a drunken driver, and Billy, the son of Cobra Commander. Scrap Iron fires upon all of them, and only Billy survives, albeit with the loss of an eye and leg. Scrap Iron and Firefly again work as a team to track down an unauthorized call from the Springfield Tiki Bar that was being made by Ripcord, who fled in a car. Scrap Iron takes aim, but it was stopped by a Cobra operative whose young daughter was in the vehicle. The girl captures Ripcord. Scrap Iron fought in the first Cobra Civil War, which took place on Cobra Island. Around that time, he fought G.I. Joe Space Forces as the two sides battle over weaponized satellites. When this baby hits, G.I. Joe will be nothing but junk. I told you the bats would work. The failure of the first batch was simply unexpected. Destro, I've got the target locked. Let's see them evade this.
All right. I found the controller. It just had fallen on the floor, like I said. It's pretty cool. It's got, let me take it out of his hand and show you a little bit better. But it's got this little heads-up display on it, so you can imagine him firing at somebody. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, I did have it. It just fell. All right, so we're going to talk the character, Scrap Iron. Now, in the cartoon, he was hardly in it. Maybe like 4 or 5 episodes. He was in Revenge of Cobra. That's where he first appeared in the cartoon. Hey, Finn, ever heard of this town called Classified? But it must be pretty good size with so many from there. It is awesome. I love the vintage figures, dude. I dig them. I love the O-rings and the 25th anniversary style. I dig them. I really do. It's good to see you, Finn. I really dig them. But these Classified look so sweet. If you're into G.I. Joe and you get a couple of these, man, I couldn't stop getting them. They're so awesome. And this missile launcher he came with in the Classified series was so much cooler than the OG that he came with. I mean, it was cool originally, but man, the Classified version, they really knocked it out of the park. But it's good to see you. Nice to have you in. So yeah, in the cartoon, he was in Revenge of Cobra, but he was hardly there. I mean, he did a few things. As far as the ongoing series, I mean, he made appearances. He was in an episode where he was kind of prominently featured as one of the villains in a little bit. Cobra Quake, which when I Googled this, they didn't list that. And I remember that specifically, him blowing up Alpine and Bazooka and having them jump out of this Japanese theater for puppets. It was really cool. I can't remember what they call it, but it was really awesome. And I'm pretty sure that was Cobra Quake. Yeah. And then he was in Arise. Serpentor Arise had a pretty good part in that, where he went back and forth, accused Cobra Commander being a traitor. Then Cobra Commander gave him money, and he turned around and joined Cobra Commander. He was in the final episode of these animated series in season 2, where he was with Cobra Commander Firefly and Storm Shadow, I think, for a bit. And into your, in the presence, what's the name of that last episode? It was Into Your Tent, I Will Silently Creep. It was with the little reptilos. Good to see you functioning normal, health-wise. Yeah, today I'm feeling pretty good. Highly medicated makes one highly dedicated, but yeah, I'm doing all right today. Thank you so much. Okay, but that's the cartoon. I mean, and his voice, he had Michael Bell's voice, and it was pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, you know, they just had him as an explosive expert in the comic and the cartoon when he was there. Now, the comics, in his very first appearance, you've got the Grim Reaper on the cover, and if you know G.I. Joe comics, you know that means somebody's gonna die in this issue. Let me give you a better look at that, because I have these all up here like this. And so, yes, he first appeared in this issue. Let's see if I can find his first on panel. There was a lot of Dreadnought action going on. There was a lot of Snake Eyes background story in this issue. But Ripcord, there he is, first panel right there. Okay. Ripcord was roaming around disguised as Zartan, and they figured him out. And so he got busted. But there's Scrap Iron on the first panel, him and Firefly together, but Firefly appeared a little bit sooner. This is issue 43 of the Marvel Comics. And I have the entire run in a 4-bound, hardbound set that Per donated to the channel and to me. And I thank him for that all the time. But in this, his first story, they were searching for Ripcord. They ended up finding, well, they weren't really searching for Ripcord yet. They were looking for, let me see what this is. That's right. The Soft Master was in town, and he was just jacking the Cobra police up. And so they were hunting him down, and Firefly and Scrap Iron on the oh man, come on, man. My memory. I never had the ATV for Cobra, the ferret. But yeah, there's just so much cool stuff happening in this, and Scrap Iron's big moment. He sees the problem. The train's there, you know, and they're getting away. They're in a car with a drunk Candy Apple. Cobra Commander's son Billy's in the car too. And Scrap Iron climbs the telephone pole and takes aim. The Soft Master, one of Storm Shadow's uncles, was looking for his brother's killer, and he jumped in the way of the rocket and blew it up. But Scrap Iron was like, well, that's no good. And Firefly said, I missed. And Firefly said, well, finish the job. So he shot the vehicle and blew it up. And only Cobra Commander's son Billy survived. And that was basically his big debut. And then, you know, he's like in the background, but not really. He was in a couple of special missions, but not really prominent. The one that I found that was really cool with him was when Fred the Seventh was disguised as Cobra Commander, and he was just taking over, and they forced him to go into orbit in this Cobra shuttle. And Scrap Iron was part of the Fred the Seventh's command crew on the shuttle. And there's this moment where they're trying to figure out whether he's the real Cobra Commander or not. But after the battle, there was no doubt. You know, they really believed it. The battle sold it, because he took command after the Baroness got knocked out. And let me see here. See if there's a really good shot of Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron was definitely on the missiles. Okay, so they had him doing his job. He's like right there. And they had him doing his job in the Cobra shuttle. And I am without music again. I feel so smooth today. Let's try this. But like I said, the Baroness got knocked out, and they kept begging to the Cobra Commander, who was not really Cobra Commander. It was a Crimson Guard in disguise as Cobra Commander, to take control of the shuttle. And when he finally did, he was actually he was a Crimson Guard, so he was no slouch. He just had never been in command before. And once he took charge, man, there was no doubt. Even Scrap Iron was going, saying, anything you say, Cobra Commander. And they believed it. Hook, line, and sinker that he was Cobra Commander. And they jacked him up, dude. Cobra just messed everybody up in this issue. And Scrap Iron was a part of that. Let's say Scrap Iron says, we did it. We destroyed all the spy satellites. So he's like right there. Badass comic, Larry Hama. You can't get better than Larry Hama comics as far as G.I. Joe is concerned. If you want G.I. Joe, Larry Hama. I haven't tried the Energon universe much. It might be cool. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. I just don't know. Of course, I have the next issue on the back, but that's something for another day. I mean, I've talked about that with Stalker. Or sorry, I had to play Musical Cats. No worry, I've been there, done that. Now, my big appearance in the comics with Scrap Iron was the comic 2-pack that he was in with Wild Bill. Now, he may have been in that comic that he came with Serpentor. I don't really remember. It wasn't very a memorable appearance. They just had an excuse to have his figure come out again in the comic series. But this whole storyline was basically Scrap Iron versus Wild Bill. And so he gets the cover with Wild Bill and the Dragonfly, and it's these comic with the 25th anniversary line. These comic book packs, these comic books were high quality. They used to call this Baxter paper. I don't really know what they call it now. I'm not as into comics as I used to be. I love comics. Don't get me wrong. I just can't afford them. I barely can afford a classified figure every once in a while. And they just keep getting more and more expensive. Yeah, let me see. They're just Wild Bill and the Dragonfly. They're running away, but naturally. And, Wild Bill naturally comes out on top. The Televiper in this gets captured, but Scrap Iron escaped. And comes out, he decked Wild Bill right there. But, they had some good moments in here. This was, actually, a lot of them weren't, but a lot of these later comics were written by Larry Hama as well. So, Larry Hama took the two characters and really ran with it. And he wrote this specifically for Scrap Iron and Wild Bill, which was nice. And Airborne was in this too. So, the Baroness, Destro. Very nice comic. Very cool cover. Let me see if I should have showed these other ones off while I was looking at it. But there's the one with the shuttles, Defiant versus the Cobra shuttle, which they never made. That would have been cool. And then, of course, we got Scrap Iron versus Wild Bill, which was number Showdown Under the Sun, number 12 of the comic series. And Larry Hama wrote all these for Hasbro. It was really cool. They were Hasbro produced. I got quite a few of them. So, the comic and up close. Let me see if I can show this better. So yeah, Scrap Iron's a neat character. Well, where does he land in my Cobra hierarchy? Just a mercenary. I don't even consider him in the hierarchy. I consider him a henchman. I have a ranking system, and Cobra henchman. He's like a Cobra henchman in 3 or 4, which they only go up to 4. So he's one of the bigger henchmen, but he's still just a henchman. Whether or not he created the bats, they never really said in the comics. They kind of insinuated it in Rise Serpentor Rise when he was assembling the Battle Android Troopers. But it's my opinion that, maybe he made some of the parts, and maybe he modifies them sometimes and puts them together, because he worked for Mars originally and then joined Cobra. So whether he's loyal to Destro or whether he's loyal to Cobra, Rise Serpentor Rise said it all. He goes for the highest bidder. He's about money and profits, but that's an Iron Grenadier trait. So you tell me. But in my book, Scrap Iron's a really cool Cobra. One of the 1984 series of Cobras. That Firefly, Storm Shadow, the Baroness came out that year. Wild Weasel, Copperhead Zartan, you name it. Hooded Cobra Commander. Most of the cool Cobras came out in 1984 in Scrap Iron. happened to be one of the least cool of a very, very cool wave of G.I. Joe characters that came out. Now, that doesn't make him any less cool, but, you know, Scrap Iron is just a really neat character, and you give him this missile launcher, and he's a total badass. I love this little missile launcher for the Classified series. And that is my take on Scrap Iron. Now I'm going to hang out a little bit. I've got some videos to play and we'll talk. And if you have any questions about Scrap Iron, hit me up and I'll let you know. If you want to see any of these figures again, or any of the accessories, or the blast effects, or the box for the Classified, let me know. I will put them up on the screen again and we'll take a look at them. But in the meantime, I'm going to play a video for you. I've got, let's see, I've already played his file card. I will play the On Joe Takes, and then I'll come back a little bit, we'll chat, and then I'll play the outro, and then I'll get set up, and in an hour, a little over an hour, I will be talking about Striker and Crankcase. So we're going to have some fun. I have Strikers to show you, so we're going to have a good time on Joe Takes 80 here in a little bit. But let's finish up talking about Scrap Iron, who's a pretty cool Cobra character.
Target locked.
As I said, you can see the figure a lot closer that way. I really dig doing that. Putting those On Joe Takes together helps me show off the figures a lot better. And I'm going to have to do this channel because I was talking right now, and it's like time to it's hard for me to do a Joe Take. So in 3 hours over there, guys. We're talking a lot because we had a game on Monday. So Katie Robbins is going to be my first game on From the Hill on Monday nights. So check us out with that. She's running a fantasy Lenharo game, so we're gonna have some fun. All right, let's see. Okay, so any questions about Scrap Iron? I would be happy to answer them. He's a neat character. You know, I'm really surprised that they haven't utilized this character a lot more. And what they did with his Classified figure, let me pop this helmet off. I mean, damn. I mean, look what they did. Clearly, he was too close to something that exploded. I think that's just really cool that they did that. And, you know, and like I said, I managed to drop this thing on the floor when I was opening it up. It's so easy to do. It's so small part. So there's his controller for his missile launcher. I like the tracks. I think that's just awesome. They did such a good job on this freaking figure right. Yeah. So you know, make sure his helmet's on there right. Did a good job. And you know, I complain about certain things, like he should have had a combat knife. Sidearm and combat knife should be standard. He should have come with a rifle, but you know, he came with all these blast effects and this damn missile launcher. So what do you want? But yeah, combat knife would have been nice. But so I don't really have any gripes about this particular figure. The tactical vest is awesome. It looks so much like the original, and you know, they just did an outstanding job. All right, if there's no question about that, I will sign off for this Joe Take, and I'll be back in about an hour and 15 minutes, a little less, for Joe Takes 80, and I'll get reset up, and we'll talk crankcase and Ostrikers. Now, I do have 6 Ostrikers, which I'll talk about, but 2 of them I couldn't find. I got a lot of stuff in storage, over 100 vehicles, so there is a link in the description to the next Joe Take. It's pinned, not in the description, but in the comments. So it should be there. You should be able to just click on that and go right to the next Joe Take, which, like I said, I'll be back in a little over an hour. You have to wait an hour? Yeah, well, I didn't know whether I'd be done exactly in an hour, and I wanted some time to set up in between. So later, Sid, and I hope you join us, because then at 5 tonight Mountain Time, so 7 Eastern, I will be back with an Endless Quest book. So I'm doing 3 live streams today. Right? I'm just having fun. 3. It doesn't make my fingers work. 3. But yeah, I'll be right back in like a little over an hour. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to get set up. And Joe Takes 80 coming at you in just a little bit. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you hopefully in the next episode.
Crimson guard with eyes on the team. Snake eyes, silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roadblock rhymes and cooks with style. Duke has the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra Commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet sharp hits, hard flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. My G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. My G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm shadows blade cut through lies. Baroness cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. Doc's healing hand in the fray. Flint's shotgun clears the way. Major Blood's battle cry echoes near. General Hawk leads, we cheer. From the hilt on YouTube, tune in for a day. Joe Takes to help you with your play. Let's put these characters to the test. I'm Logan, the G.I. Joe gamer, and I play it